guys, Shadow here, and today you join me on a brand new video. Today's video is going to be on the public test realm for patch 7.1.5, and we're going to be going over some of the Havoc changes and two of the new abilities that have been come into the game, and some of the talent choices which have been swapped around. And my first of all looks at an opinion on basically what I think is going to be the best. Now, as with these opinion videos, I'm not actually going to be scripting these ones, but when I do actually have a build which I think is going to be the best for 7.1.5, something I'm going to be working on the next couple of days, I will be sure to do a build or guide video for you guys to discuss my thoughts on those tours. But then we're just going to have a first look at the honor system talents and also the normal talents, because Blizzard, when they were at BlizzCon, they wanted to change some specs around, change some talents around, and check them, make them slightly more viable for certain scenarios. So as of you may be able to notice already, as I've left my talent window up for a little bit, those of you who are aware that Fellblade has been swapped with Chaos Cleave. Also, Chaos Cleave has been nerfed, and also Blind Fury has been changed. Now, I'll go over the first one that I just talked over, which is the change between Fellblade and Chaos Cleave swapped around. I don't really think this is that much of an impactful change. I mean, it's nice to see that you can really run this as well as Bloodlet, because Bloodlet, I feel, is still the best talent on this row. After especially, I think that Blizzard, you kind of contradicted yourself a little bit, because you move Chaos Cleave, like it wasn't already usable, and now you're just nerfing it even more. So, and you just moved it. Like, it wasn't because of the talent tree it was on, because Bloodlet is still more powerful, because of how Throw-Glaive damage works, and because you can double stack your Bloodlet dot whenever you double Throw-Glaive when you're running Master of Glaive. That's not really the issue with Chaos Cleave. The issue with Chaos Cleave was it was on a row which basically, you know, allowed you to basically have something which was a lot better. So, you know, Fell Mastery was obviously going to be better than Chaos Cleave or Blind Fury at this current point. Now, Blind Fury has had a buff, which kind of leads me on nicely to what Blind Fury has basically done. So now whenever you I-beam, for every second you're inside I-beam, so I-beam lasts about 3 seconds or so-ish, so just under 3 seconds at the moment on the public test round when you're running Blind Fury. You generate 35 Fury per second, so basically you're going to gain something like just over 100 Fury from your I-beam, which I think is really, really good, especially if you have the Legendary Helmet, which I do, which also got a stat increase as of today. But that's not going to be a video on that. I'll do a separate video on that. If you want that video, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these changes as well, and down there as well. But yeah, I think Blind Fury is going to be really, really good. Now, I'm debating between whether Fell Rush or Fell Mastery, sorry, is going to still be the best. To be honest, Fellblade isn't that useful with the other two talent choices being there. I'm really, really curious to see how Blind Fury plays out. I'm going to be doing some testing throughout the next week or so to actually really do some testing on Blind Fury, and hopefully that will make a video at some point next week where I've actually done some testing with this. I've done a couple of arenas with Blind Fury and Fell Mastery, and at the moment I'm leaning more towards Blind Fury being the talent choice for 7.1.5, but we'll have to wait and see. And just before I go on with this video, just so you know, this is the first iteration of the PTR. The PTR is going to be updated up until it actually goes live, so there will be more and more changes and more tweaks on the abilities, because I know that some players are not going to like some of these changes, some players are going to enjoy the changes, and some of them are going to be a little bit too overpowered and need to be tweaked and things like that, and some number tweaking needs to be thing. I think that this is going to be slightly too powerful just because of the amount of fury you can gain, and then in turn you can do more a lot more damage with it, because this basically gives you, if you're lucky, maybe like 2, 3, maybe up to 4 chaos strikes just on one I-beam. Now, with the spec I'm currently running, this is mainly a PvE build, but it also does a lot more damage in PvP, sorry. So, unfortunately, I've tried a lot with Prepared and Dynamic Appetite, but Demon Blades is actually going to be the best talent, in my opinion, because just of how quickly you can gain. Now, I'm not 100% sure whether they've actually nerfed this. I have a feeling that they have a little bit, because I have a feeling on live it is actually 85%. Or it's 65% on the 7 point on the PTR at the moment. So we'll have to see. Well, I'll check those changes and I'll put a edited annotation or a kind of disclaimer in the description if that is a change. But I still feel it is going to be the best. But after some playtesting, I'll be sure to, you know, sort of talk about that a little bit more. Otherwise, if it's not, we're going to go back to prepared, I think, because prepared is still really, really good. It makes your eventual tree have a lower cooldown, and also generates, you know, that extra fury, which is always very lovely. Moving on to the level 102 row, my thoughts on it: Bloodlet, still going to be the best. To be honest, Chaos Cleave, like as I said previously before, they basically took it from a 50% like kind of additional damage, which would have been semi-viable. I think it needs to be a little bit higher, in my opinion, but now they just nerfed it to 25%, so they just made it a lot worse now. But this is my opinion. Soul Rending, I still feel is going to be the best, but I'm very curious to see like what people can actually do with these now. These don't actually replace Blur as well. So, but I still think that, I mean, they've nerfed it so it's only a 70% like leech on meta, but it's still a really, really strong self heal. No matter what, like even when you have Metamorphosis active, you're still going to be healing a lot, because 70% is still a lot. Yeah, okay, it's not 100% of your damage, but it's still 70%. So moving on to the next row. The next 3 rows of the talents haven't really changed that I know of. So yeah, we're going to be leaving those for the time being. If I notice any other changes or anything else I want to mention, I'll either edit in or do a separate video. So we're going to be moving on to the changes to the honor system talents. Apologies if this video sort of goes on a little bit. I just wanted to kind of briefly go over my thoughts. Now, most of these talents haven't changed. The main row you're looking at is going to be this row right here. And we have, this row's been changed a little bit. Awaken from Demon, I still feel it's going to be the best, even though it has been moved. This is mainly like not really that important unless you're just leveling a Demon Hunter, because this means you won't get it until you're like around level 40 on a system or something like that. But these two are very interesting. Now we're going to start with Mana Rift. Now Mana Rift basically is an AoE damage that kind of removes a lot of mana from. So if you put this on healers, it could be really, really good. I want to playtest this in RBGs. I also want to playtest this in BGs. I'm not really too sure whether. I don't think it would be that good for arena scenarios, to be honest with you, just because it's only 8%. I think that this may receive a buff to make it actually that viable, but personally I think that it would be it just feels a bit underwhelming that it's only 8%. Now, this is really going to come down to your playstyle. This basically changes your metamorphosis so that you do more consistent damage. It's all going to depend on your comps for arena as well. If you're trying to run more a bursty comp, then obviously Awaken the Demon Within is going to be the best talent for you to run, and also having your burst last a lot longer but be on a longer cooldown is going to be probably better to fit your comp. Also, I think that with the Blind Fury changes is also going to be really, really good for kind of setup based comps or burst set comps as well. But something which is more consistent damage comp, so you're running with a Warlock or etc. Or even a Shadow Priest in some ways, because they do a lot of consistent damage but also have a lot of burst pressure, which is something I'll talk about in a separate video. But this is going to be, I think it's okay, because I think the main reason why people would run this talent was because it gives you those little burst opportunities to get more cooldowns earlier, and also increases your overall damage by 10% when you're not inside Metamorphosis. So that is going to kind of wrap up really the talent build or the talent changes for patch 7.1.5. The main reason why, I'll just quickly go over this because I noticed that people were talking about Fairblade in the general trade chat at the moment. The reason why I think that this is not viable is mainly just because of the fact that I'm running with Demon Blades. If you're not and you're running with Prepared, then in some ways I think this can be still good, but I don't think it overweighs either Blind Furies with the change or Fell Mastery. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave it with some feedback in the comment section down below. And if this video did help you out and you are new to the channel, make sure to be subscribed to the channel, because I do my best to upload Legion content on a daily basis. Also, if you would like to leave me a like, I would appreciate it a lot. And yeah, we're going to leave the video there, but I hopefully have some more PTR videos coming out for you guys very soon, along with some Mythic Plus and RBGs in the future as well. Thank you guys for watching once again, and we'll see you guys next time. Farewell.